Hello guys, welcome to a new episode of Leubniz Lecture. This lecture today is part of my series about vanilla JavaScript, and today I want to cover the topic local storage. So the local storage is, as the name already reveals, some part of storage that's locally. And when I talk about locally, I mean in your browser. So we have the possibility to save data to the browser locally, and if you refresh certain pages, data just stays there because it's saved in your browser. And today we want to do a demo to see how to write items to this local storage and how to read them from there. So we head over to our VS Code to create a demo here. What I already did is I created an index.html file and a JavaScript file. I created a basic structure giving this a title of local storage demo. And now we have to create our body. First of all, what I want to do, let's say storage items as a headline here. And let's open this in live server so that we see something good. And I want to have a button here with the ID my button, and this says add item. And whenever we click this button, we want to randomly create an item and add it to the list with the ID items. So finally, we have to include our JavaScript file main.js, and type is equal to text/JavaScript. I think that should work. Okay, so let's head over to our JavaScript file. So first of all, we need an array. We call it items, where we want to save all the items. And this will be very simple. We just create some string items and we add them in there. And now we have to create an event listener because we want to listen for a click at our button. So we say document.querySelector. We want to access the button here, and we want to add a click event listener. So I'm using the arrow function here to access this whole thing. And first of all, let's just see if this works. So hello world. We save this. We open up the console here. Let's click on the button and we see it says hello world. Maybe I'll just zoom in a little bit. So it says hello world whenever I click the button. So it looks good. So let's get rid of this console.log and let's create our item. So maybe you need this in the future whenever you want to create some random text. So I want to create a new item here. And first of all, to do this, I need some random numbers. So I'm using math.random. Math.random creates a random number between 0 and 1, whereas 1 is not included. Then I want to add 1 there. And then do the magic by saying toString 36. So this is kind of creating a 36 base string out of these numbers here. And the string consists of numbers and letters. And then I'm just taking everything after my 7th element here. So let's see if this works and console log the item. So if we click here, that's exactly what we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, perfect. Good. So this is working fine. So let's add them to our list. So items.push and the item there. And now to add this to our unordered list, we have to create a list item. So we say our list item is equal to document.createElement. And what we want to create is an li here. Then we want to set text content to be our item. And I think that's it already. So we just say document dot query selector. We get our items and we say dot append child, and we want to add our list item there. Okay. So sorry guys. Good. So whenever we click on the add button now, this adds a new element there. So that's exactly what we want to see. But as soon as we refresh our page, everything's gone. That's really bad because we want the items to stay there. So what can we do? We can write the items to the local storage. And therefore, what I want to do is I want to go up here and create a function that's called write items. And in there, we want to access the local storage. So first of all, I'm going to call the function down here because this is where whenever we add a new item, we want to write this to the local storage. And the great thing about JavaScript is there is already a variable representing our local storage that we can use. So we say local storage.set item. And then there is a key value pair that we have to pass. So the key will be items. That's how we want to identify the items later. And we want to save, or we have to save them in a JSON format. So we use JSON.stringify to create an item string out of our elements. So we save this. And now we want to add a new item. And we already get an error down here. So it tells us item is not defined. This is because I forgot the S here. So now it's working. So we added one element, but still if we reload, everything stays as it is. So nothing changes. But let's see, we can change to application here and we have the local storage down there. And if we click here, we see that there is something in our local storage. As soon as I click the add item, we see it's exactly the item that I just added. If I click add item again, there is the next item and so on. So it seems to be working. That's cool. So the only thing that we're missing right now is to read the items as soon as we refresh our page, because as soon as we refresh the page, the items are still there, but nothing is shown here. So let's try to write this function of reading the items. So we say function read items, or maybe we can try to do an arrow function here. So const read items. And what we want to do is, first of all, we grab the data. So we say json.parse, so to create an element or an array again. And what we do is we say local storage.get item. And in here, what we pass is just a string. So the key that we defined before, and this is items. What I like to do here is the following. So whenever there is no local storage element items, I want to initialize items as an empty array. So this is important here because otherwise you cannot go on with the items. So let's do a console.log here. And I want to see the elements, the number of elements that are read. So I'm using a template string here and I said read items, and in here, let's say items dot length. Good. So read items is not called, but I want read items to get called as soon as I reload the page. So just call it down there. Head back to our console and we see it says read 3 items. And this is true because we have 3 items here inside our local storage. So just close the console. Sorry for that. So there we go. Okay. So let's see, how can we now create a list of these items here? And that's just not very difficult. The first thing we need to do is we need to use our items user for each here. For each, we say for each item in there, we want to add this to our list. So we need to create a list item first. So this is kind of the same that we just did down there. So we say document dot create element. It's an li. We say list item dot text content equals item. And then we grab our list, which is items. And then we say append child list item. So that's the same code that we just wrote down there. So and as soon as we save this, we see, okay, the elements were loaded. And now I can just add the elements there, and every time I reload my page, everything stays. I can clear the local storage down there. If I reload now, everything is gone. So I add a new item and I reload and it stays there. So this is kind of the magic of the local storage. Okay, guys, so this is already the end of my video about the local storage. I think that's a very cool feature, and maybe you try to use this in your web pages and hopefully have a little bit fun with writing something to your local storage. So if you like these videos, just give me a like, and if you want to see more of my videos, of my lectures, please subscribe my channel. I would be happy if you do so. So I hope to see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.